The movie starts with Axel Foley driving around, listening to music and greeting friends. He goes to a hockey game, where some guys bribe security guards to enter the stadium. Mike Woody, Axel's colleague, says Axel inspired him to become a cop and sees him as a mentor. Axel reveals that the stadium is about to be robbed and asks Mike to use his detective skills to identify the robbers, showing him the suspicious actions of the security guards. Mike feels disappointed, thinking Axel was just hanging out with him. They stop Junior, a security guard, and Axel finds a robber inside. Axel is held at gunpoint, but disarms the robber and orders them to surrender. The corrupt cop from earlier bumps into Axel, allowing the robbers to escape. A gunfight ensues, and Axel and his partner chase the robbers. They call for backup, but their superior, Jeffrey, questions the car chase. They explain and continue, causing significant damage. They eventually catch one robber. The next day, Axel asks Jeffrey if he is proud of his work. Jeffrey complains that the police commissioner yelled at him and tells Axel his street days might be over. He also mentions his upcoming retirement. After a long talk, the scene cuts to Jane Saunders visiting the prison. Jane Saunders, a lawyer, visits prisoner Sam Enriquez, believing he was framed. Sam was found next to a dead cop with a truck full of drugs. He tells Jane he lost consciousness while driving and woke up beside a gun and a dead cop. That afternoon, we see that they go to court. Afterward, Jane goes to her car, but a truck reverses toward her, and thugs push her car off a building, warning her to drop the Enriquez case. The cops arrive, but Jane cannot identify the masked thugs. Billy tells Jane to drop the case or he will inform her dad, Axel, about the threat. Jane insists on continuing and warns Billy not to tell her father. Axel gets a call from Billy about Jane and the Enriquez case, warning that Jane's life is in danger. Axel plans to fly to the city in the morning. Billy mentions he has footage proving Sam's innocence, but needs to check one more place. Billy then checks the location, but is surrounded by the gang. Axel says goodbye to his friend Jeffrey at the airport, who advises him to be careful. Axel arrives in Beverly Hills, but Billy, who has been kidnapped, does not pick him up. Axel goes to Billy's apartment, finds men searching the place, and pretends to be one of them until he's recognized from a photo with Billy. Axel surprises them and escapes. He finds his car towed, is pepper sprayed by an officer while trying to steal her car, and eventually drives off, chased by the thugs. Axel gets into an accident and is surrounded by female cops who arrest him, even though he identifies himself as a cop. At the station, Officer Bobby Abbott questions him about why he was at Billy Rosewood's office, but Axel refuses to say and frees himself from the handcuffs. At Jane Saunders' office, she gets a call from her father, Axel, but quickly hangs up. Axel had informed her that Billy called him last night and that if she wants information, she should bail him out. Jane goes to meet her father, but tells him she is not there for a family reunion. It seems Jane knows Officer Abbott, who is handling her dad's case. Nearby, Axel meets Chief John Taggart, and they hug, as it has been a long time since they saw each other. They talk about old times, and Axel mentions that Billy called him. Axel is surprised to learn that his daughter is now defending a cop killer. Back to Jane, she meets Abbott and asks if he is seeing anyone now. She also apologizes for disappearing. Abbott is shocked to learn that Jane is Axel's daughter. Meanwhile, Axel suspects Captain Grant after noticing his expensive $2,000 Gucci shoes, thinking something is wrong at the station. He promises Jane he will leave tomorrow if it is a false alarm. They drive together, catching up. Axel takes Jane to a store to investigate further, where the salesboy shows them CCTV footage from last night. They find Coplin's car in the car park, already damaged. Axel checks for the SD card from the car camera, but finds nothing. As they leave, Axel finds a tracker under Jane's car. They set a trap to see who was following them, discovering it is the same guys who chased Axel. Jane and her father then drive to a private social gathering. Axel tries to enter the building but is stopped. Jane insists they both be allowed in, and they are. They meet up with the thugs, and Axel discovers that Captain Grant sent the thugs to Billy's office. After a long discussion, Captain Grant says the mayor's office is pressuring him, and he needs to recover the evidence to clear his name, showing he is very corrupt. While driving, Jane tells her father that since they know Grant's secrets and he's not worried, it means he either does not care or has powerful people backing him. Jane then tells her dad goodbye and says he should go back to where he came from. Axel drives his truck and tries calling Billy, but gets no response, so he books a hotel. The next day, Axel continues his investigation. Jane Saunders goes to her conference room and finds her dad. At first, she does not want to see him, but she changes her mind because he has information about Sam Enriquez's case. Meanwhile, Bobby Abbott gives John Tagger some confidential files and a camera, which seems to be the same one Axel found earlier. Bobby follows Jane and her father, but they get ambushed. Bobby helps them and calls for backup. The attackers shoot at Axel's vehicle, but Bobby eliminates the gunman just as they approach Jane. At the station, Axel thanks Bobby for his help, but they have a heated argument. Bobby tells Axel that Jane broke up with him because she could not date a cop, which breaks Axel's heart. John Tagger calls Axel about the disaster that nearly happened. Axel asked John Tagger if he was involved in the corrupt cop activities, but John became angry and told Axel to leave his office. He also suspended Bobby for taking out people randomly. Meanwhile, Jane asked her dad why he would not give up on all of this. He replied that he could not just let it go. Later that night, Bobby joined them. He talked to Jane about the situation. The three of them decided to investigate the drug cartels and their activities. They planned to visit one of the cartel's buildings with the help of a friend who could get them inside. The four of them drove to the location and managed to get in using fake identities. Axel started his investigation and noticed some suspicious things nearby. Meanwhile, Jane and Bobby pretended to be interested in buying a house to blend in. During the act, they even shared a kiss. Just then, Axel comes in and says he is not interested in the building anymore. Captain Grant gets a call from his guys that Jane and her father were just at the house. Grant tells his boys not to take any action yet. The three of them go to another location, hoping to find Billy because they believe he is the only one who might have the CCTV footage. Before that, they plan to find Sam Enriquez's uncle. They think he will lead them to Billy. After a long talk about father and daughter, Jane leaves. Meanwhile, Bobby and Axel talk more about family. Axel still believes his daughter Jane was the one who pushed him away from her life. They both go to a bar, hoping to find Chelino. Fortunately, they see him singing. Axel tries to encourage him, but it turns out to be a bad idea as Chelino pulls out his gun. Chelino aims his gun at Bobby, but Axel tells him that his daughter is helping Sam and RZ at the court. Hearing this, Chelino agrees to listen to them. He reveals that the whole Beverly Hills police force is involved with the cartel and gives them crucial information. They leave the bar, but are surrounded by Captain Grant's policemen who frame Axel and Bob with a large amount of drugs. They knock them out and take them to the station. Captain Grant interrogates Axel, accusing him of being corrupt and unable to afford to live in a city where he was shot at multiple times. After a long talk, Axel manages to free himself. John Tagger gets a call from his cop friend informing him that Grant has arrested Foley and Abbott for drug possession. John does not believe Axel could have done such a thing. Back at the interrogation room, Foley sets a trap for Grant, which works well. This gives him a chance to escape and free Bobby. They try to leave the building, but the security alarm goes off, so they head to the rooftop where there is a helicopter. Bobby is scared to get in the helicopter, but they manage to get it running. Just as they do, Grant's men arrive. Bobby takes off with the helicopter, though he is not skilled at flying it. Grant chases them and starts shooting. John Tagger finds them and is upset they are using a police helicopter. Grant shoots their engine, and they crash land roughly. Bobby and Axel go to raid a place. Meanwhile, Jane meets with John Tagger, who tells her about their arrest. He assures Jane that her father loves her a lot. This makes Jane want to apologize, and she calls her father. Just then, she gets kidnapped. Bobby and Axel go to the place where Billy was taken and find many suspicious things. They enter a factory where they find Billy being tortured. Axel and his partner save Billy and steal the truck. Axel asks Billy where the SD card is, and he says it is in his office. Axel tries to call his daughter, but Grant answers and threatens Axel to bring the SD card to them. Axel calls Jeffrey to track Jane's phone and find her location. They head there, but Axel's plan for the cops to follow him as backup does not work out well. Jane asks Grant about his plan once he gets the SD card. While they talk, Axel drives his van into the building and a shootout begins. John Tagger arrives and saves Billy, giving him a gun. Jane manages to break free and takes down one of the gang members after a long fight. After a fierce battle, Axel finds the room where Grant is holding Jane. He demands to know where Jane is, and Grant surrenders, revealing that he lost his own family. Suddenly, one of Grant's men tries to shoot Axel, but Jane arrives just in time to save him. Grant then aims at Jane and shoots, but Axel takes the bullet meant for her. Grant tries to shoot Jane again, but Bobby intervenes and shoots him in the head. Cops and an ambulance take Axel to the hospital. After a few days, he recovers. Jane looks for him in his ward, but finds him at a restaurant. She tells him that Captain Grant and others are under observation, and the judge dropped all charges against Sam and RZ. Axel apologizes for leaving when she needed him and tells her he is proud of her. They make up. A few days later, Billy and John Tagger watch the hospital to ensure Axel does not leave. Axel joins them in their vehicle, knowing Jane asked them to watch him. He asks to eat decent food because he is tired of hospital food, and the story ends here.